These are the main battles you need to win to make sure you're defending yourself from the straight foot lock. You don't have to win all these battles, but winning the majority of them is very important. The first group of heuristics I call ankle locks aren't real, but foot locks are. First thing we want to do is always point our toes. If we dorsiflex our foot, this is actually when we can get like pretty bad breaks in our knee. Second, we want to point our heel away. The moment Hugo captures my heel, that's actually when we feel a lot of pressure, not just on our knee, but on our foot itself. So even when he captures my heel, I'm always trying to point my heel away and relieve some of the pressure. Knee off the mat at all times. Right now we're safe in a, like one knee down standing variation, but if he ever tries to go belly down, I'm never going to follow with the roll, right? And commit my knee to the ground. I'm going to instead pressure my knee upward, try to bring him back belly up, and relieve some of the pressure. This also is going to stay true with the same heuristic of keeping my heel away. Never let your knee get pinned to the ground. If it is, you always fight to take it off the mat and then keep your knee further away from the mat. The next battle is to plant your foot on the ground. So here, when we're seated, I want to kind of drive into him and put my foot on the ground. If he keeps me on one knee, I'm still driving into him and putting my knee on the ground. Same heuristics hold true of keep pointing my heel away and pointing my knee in. One more note, I'm pointing my knee in. When I say pointing my knee in, I mean pointing my knee towards my own center line. This holds true whether it's straight foot lock or cross foot lock. I'm always trying to point my knee towards my own center line. The last battle for this group is to make sure we misalign his hips from my knee. If I can get his hips to point outward and my knee is not pointed up, there's not really much breaking pressure, right? Hugo can try to really press it on. I'm not gonna feel too much. Maybe I'll feel a little bit on my shin bone itself, but as long as Hugo's not like on the bomba, it's gonna be fine. So the next group of heuristics or the next group of battles, I call ew feet, okay? So basically, this is the most important, these are the most important battles to win, and it's like probably the most often neglected by white belts, but realistically, Hugo cannot break my foot if he can't touch my feet. So what that means is I'm never gonna step into guard of a guy who I know is a great foot locker, right? I'm gonna pass tripoded. And then if I see him reaching for my foot, right, I'm gonna kick it away. If I see him grab my foot, I'm gonna kick out, whether he's supine, whether he's seated, okay? And so even let's say we're in like a kneeling situation and I see him digging and he has an underhook, I'm always gonna fight in some kind of way. I'm gonna build height and then I'm gonna kick out. I never let them latch onto my leg, okay? Next thing, remember when I said we point our heel away? And that is going to oftentimes lead the person to chase a heel hook. But that gives us actually a great time. Whenever they grip switch, we're always gonna step out. Whenever they switch their grip, we're always gonna step out because how can they break our foot if they're not touching our foot? These are now the third group of battles or heuristics that I like to call get off my legs. Whether we're double pull, whether we're standing, whatever, I'm never gonna present my second foot to Hugo because as soon as he's here, he actually controls the position well and he can break me down further. I'm always going to step away, keep the second leg away from him. The next one is always, I want to delete his frames. What that means is he has these leg frames on me. I'm always trying to peel his feet in any way I can. It doesn't matter how you do it. I'm sure there's like a million techniques online of like what guys prefer to do. It doesn't matter. Any white belt can do this. If his foot is on me, I'm gonna take it off me, okay? Third, my own thing. I wanna build frames. And this is more applicable when we're in like a seated position, right? If you see Mikey Musumeci against Imanari, he really liked to use this like knee wedge position. We wanna build frames. At the same time, if we're standing, right? And I peel his legs, I wanna keep it, because now I have a frame to prevent him from framing me and breaking my leg. And the last two, keeping our hands off the mat. Ideally, we only ever plant one hand at a time. We never want to plant two hands because that's actually going to be the greatest breaking position. So if we go belly down again, like I said before, I'm not going to roll with him and then commit my hands to the ground. Okay, I'm going to stay up. I'm going to keep my hands off the ground. In fact, I'm going to still take away his frames here and I'm going to decompose the position. The next thing is I want to build height. Okay, this seems like an obvious one, but the taller I am, the more I can drive weight into the foot. And that goes back to that previous heuristic of planting my foot on the ground. I want to build height and then I want to delete his frames here, okay? We don't want to stay low where it's easier for Hugo to advance this position.